Mindsets. Daryl King, my special guest, Michael McLachlan. And I'll tell you what, this is a real pleasure because Michael's been in here before, but it's been a while. Last time he was there, they were doing a podcast on me, sitting there. Who was with you?
You know what? It was we were doing it was something from me. I asked your help to talk about. It's been so long I can't remember what it's about. Charity and your life story and your journey. So it's me interviewing you. Now it's
that's right. So Michael McLachlan is partner and broker of record of Remax Hallmark Realty, where he oversees operations across multiple offices. So we have 40 offices and supports we have thousands of realtors, 2,000 realtors and staff. So exceeds that. With more than 2 decades of experience in real estate industry, but for him, it's a lifetime because his father is Ken. So he's known for his leadership in brokerage, operations, compliance, and agent development. Michael also serves as director at large with the Toronto Real Estate Board. He beat the competition by 4-1. Applause, guys. Right? Contributing to governance, industry leadership in the across the Greater Toronto area. So when he blew out the competition, like by 4-1, I was so happy because
you were my first call, actually.
Yeah. So the good part about that is that, you know, to have young wisdom like this in our industry today means so much because the problem is it's a volunteer. He doesn't get paid for that. He runs the biggest brokerage is in Canada and one of the biggest in the world, right? So he has limited time. You have what, 2 kids?
2 kids,
right? So he has 2 kids and a wife. So he has his family time too. So it's a lot of work and, you know, being able to fit it all in. Listen, whenever I have a problem, it used to be his father used to call all the time, but now I call him. And I love it because he has a direct answer for me and he collaborates. We work together. And even that closing we got done, right? So it's so great to have such great leadership to help be a partner with us as the Daryl King team. So we have him live in here today when he said he'd come in here, that I was very happy because he was on March break with the kids and he's got a million things, but he still graciously gave us his time to share with us. So introduce yourself, Michael.
Thank you, Daryl. And thank you for hosting me here today. I mean, it's a pleasure always to come up here. I think I've only been here a handful of times. I came to teach you guys spin track years and years ago. I've delegated that to somebody else at this point, but my name is Michael McLachlan. I've been in the business a long time. I started pretty young. I'm 2nd generation realtor, as Daryl said. I grew up in the business. I started working at the front desk when I think I was 16 years old.
Candace?
Answering the phones. Used to have those fax machines. I remember we had a fax machine that didn't even have the individual slices of paper. It was on one big roll that you'd rip off after the end.
Oh, God.
That's how
like a cash register.
The pigeonholes that we'd write out the messages. My handwriting is terrible, but we still that's what we dealt with back then. I'm 42 now. I've been licensed for 21 years now. I've been a broker of record at Remax Hallmark for 4 years. 2 kids, as Daryl mentions, and now I'm on Treb, which has been a whole other experience. That's been eye-opening to experience that.
So, you know, you have to go through a whole lot. He's not just an overnight success. He was brought up to it as a young child, as a baby in this industry. So, you know, who has parents that were real estate age? Candace, you grew up with it. Who else? Anyone else in this room had family members that were involved? I'll tell you what, if they seen what they had to do, they'd say, I'm not getting into this business. Because if you're being successful, you're being busy. And that takes a lot of time and hard work and commitment. So I'll tell you, before we even start, nothing is taking the work with commitment, focus, dedication, and hard work are still the 4 greatest things that are going to get you to be successful. That hasn't changed in your time, in my time. So there's lots of other things, tools that we can use that will help us. You know, AI, obviously, you know, we need to embrace that and use it to our advantage, not to be afraid of it, because AI is not going to sit here and take me here or go on a presentation or somewhere else. It will assist me in lots of things, but I'm not worried about losing my job with it.
No,
in some other.
An amplifier for what you already are. It's going to make you greater. It's going to enable you to do better.
Right. So let's talk about looking ahead to 26, 27. What's the biggest shift you believe will define the Canadian real estate market?
I think it's turbulent times right now. We got a lot of changes coming down the pipe in terms of, certainly the impacts on the individual real estate agent, how they're going to be conducting business, whether that be amplified with thank you, with AI or any other tool that comes out. Uh, and I think the market is going to be as good as you make it. Whatever's happening out there, and you know this, and you always say this as well. It's the market is between your ears, and it's what you make of it. So no matter what's happening in the marketplace right now, interest rates going up, down, sideways, whatever it is, it's the value that you're bringing to your clients and guiding them through that process, giving them confidence to operate. What really makes the difference is having the discipline to get up and do it every day. It's those agents that make it past the first couple of years in their career are usually the ones that are able to hang around. It's the people that get discouraged early, the ones that drop out. So I think, what's going to change 2026, 2027? It's going to be a million things. It's going to be nothing as well. It's going to be the same business that you're doing, but it's just going to be, there's always going to be twists in it.
So the biggest change I've seen personally is, and you probably would say the same thing, is the amalgamation of brokerages. Like a lot of brokerages that were weak brokerages that, shouldn't been a brokerage in the first place because they were charging low commissions, trying to hire the agents, but they didn't. Guys, it costs money to be a broker. If a broker doesn't make money, they can't stay in business. So a lot of these brokerages that went under, they say, okay, we'll give 100% or this or that, and then you just pay transactions fees and a desk fee, whatever. But guess where they are today? They're gone. Almost any discount broker I've known over 30 some years, within 2 to 5 years max, is out of business. So you need to get with a reputable broker. And what we've seen is a lot of Royal LePage, their largest office, which was my old broker, 2 blocks down the road. I said to her, if you can't beat us, join us. So she couldn't beat us. So she joined us. So she brought her 1,200 agents to Remax, right? So we've seen a lot of the different mergers. Look at Compass, taking all those Century 21, Coldwell Banker, and all of those. So that's going to be very interesting how.
I think that's going to continue. The amalgamation of brokerages, the consolidation of brokerages, this more difficult marketplace has kind of exposed different business models that might not have been as sound or as solid as, certainly what we have going on, or the more traditional structured brokerages.
Yeah. That's what I see. I see the weak are going to get weaker, and they'll play away. The stronger will get stronger.
We see this as from a brokerage perspective, we see this as a tremendous opportunity to gain market share right now because we have strong fundamentals. And I've been told so many things over the years, the ones that reinvest in their business when the market is down are the ones that come out of it the strongest. The guy that when the market went down, they reinvested in doing direct mail, effective, especially effective at that time, came out and has a tremendous business on the other side of it because their competitors are pulling back. They're not reinvesting in their business and not engaging in business. They're cutting back on their advertising. They're retreating. So I think you have to attack when other people are retreating.
So what I would say, show up every day, guys. Don't take that day off. I myself personally, I'm working harder today than I have in years.
I believe it.
Because I know the market is much more challenging. It's making corrections. And if I don't go out and do what I do, we don't survive. Right? So, we're getting lots of good inventory because these people want to sell their properties. And, if you price them right, you expose them right, and they're going to sell.
Yeah.
So, but you got to be out there every day. They're not going to call you if you're not out there, right? So there's a lot of talk about interest rates stabilizing. How do you see that impacting buyer confidence over the next 12 to 24 months? So the rates just held again, just now, right? And a lot of people thought they were going to go up because of what's happening in Iran and the economy. But what I seen, I was happy that they didn't go up. I want to really see them go down, but
you and me both. I got to refinance something.
Yeah. So, but the fact that they didn't go up was a strong indicator that they really are going to be forced really hard to even think of putting them up.
Yeah.
They really need to bring them down. And even the move they did yesterday with that HST, I think is the best thing that's happened in years by the government to help the economy.
I think the moves like that, the HST, GST, that gives some confidence to the buyers to entice them to the marketplace, because it's been, as you know, pretty dead, especially in that pre-construction market right now.
That condo market, right?
Yeah.
That's who I see benefit the most.
They got to get those guys off the sidelines, because right now we're gearing up to we're gearing up to a real problem in a couple of years if we don't get shovels in the ground and things built. Because I'm a big believer in Toronto and Ontario as a region. I think it's going to continue to attract quality people into this area. And if we don't have the housing stock to support them, we're going to have another problem, the opposite problem on the other side of this in a couple of years. So they got to start building again. They have to find a way to get them to start building again.
Like how I see with that HST and GST yesterday for all parties, or new homes only for 1 year. I'm hoping somehow they can relate it to backtrack some of the other sales,
right?
The people that already bought, because some of the people that already bought, they bought here and the price range is now here. Yeah. So they're already underwater going in.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that need the biggest help right now. So I'm hoping that was a great stretch what they did, and I love it. Yeah. Ford and Kearney, love you guys for that. The building industry loves them for that, because they're poor workers sitting on unemployment right now. They're not working.
They got to get them back to work.
Right? So they need to go back to work. And in 2028, there's 40,000 empty condos in Toronto as we sit. But you imagine, now they just made up with the Indian amalgamation. So now they're going to let more of their students come back in here. So we were from 800,000 students to 300. So let's say they even allow another 100,000 come in. Mm-hmm. So that's 40,000 condos will go in 2-3 months max. Then you got no more inventory.
Yeah.
Then there's no more struggles with the condo industry. Then it'll bottom out and come up to its value.
Yep.
So there's some moves that are starting to happen. And unless you're paying attention, you're going to miss the shift. Because I actually believe right now, with this weather getting better, like I live in North Richmond Hill, I did a video yesterday. I said, as the spring melts or the snow melts and the weather gets warmer, so does the market. And I believe this market in this spring, that it's going to be a lot better than the last 2 years. Yep. Because we're not hearing every day about the tariffs. We're hearing a little bit about the war, but they're talking about doing a 30-day ceasefire.
Yep.
So you need to change that perception of who you listen to, who you hang out with, and who you brokerage with.
Yeah.
Because it's all important, right? So we're heading towards a more balanced market. Or do you think one side buyers or sellers still have the upper hand?
I think it's going to be more balanced. I always loved the balanced market. I hated competing in these multiple offer situations where you're one of 20. How hard is it to give your buyer client guidance in that kind of a situation? You're throwing money out the door. You're trying to you're throwing a dart at a board.
But I think we're a long way from being.
I think we're a long way from that. Yeah.
But what we are is we're in a full-blown buyer's market
right now. Yeah.
So if it starts to more balance out, it's better for everybody.
100%.
Right. And the problem is you need two sides. You need a seller and you need a buyer. If you only have sellers and no buyers, what happens? The market, they either hold stable and not go down, but then there's some that's forced to sell, they go down.
Yeah.
So it forces everybody, it's not when the market, this one sold, now this one sold, this one sold. So we're in the opposite. This one sold, this one sold, this one sold. So we're in a chase market right now. But I see within the next 2 months that changes dramatically.
Yep.
Right?
You see a more balanced market in the next 2 months?
Much more balanced market.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm a buyer, I'm sitting on the sidelines. Call one of my team members here. Call one of the Remax All Market brokers there. Get to work. Don't waste time, because you're going to snooze, you lose. Because the market only changes 1 or 2%. That's a lot more than you think you're going to save at the end of the day, right? So what trends are you seeing right now that most agents are completely overlooking?
Great question. I'm always fascinated by what are the unloved aspects of like unloved categories of real estate. I think there's opportunities looking at the assignment market. You know, there you can get some great deals in the assignment market right now. Interested to see what happens with that more investment grade stuff like the multifamily. I think it's deeply unloved right now. Um, as far as trends, I'm actually really fascinated by this conversation around AI as well, because I think it can be such a great empower of realtors and people just running their business. I'm interested in it. Sometimes I don't see the tangible benefits coming out of that. Yeah, it helps me write an email, or it helps me write a letter really well. I think there's it's being overpromised a little bit in some aspects of it.
Way too much.
It's
Way too much.
people are thinking that it's going to come and you know do our laundry for us, and maybe one day, but it's I think that's a long way off. We're still going to need people, and people connect with people. They don't connect with an AI, or at least you hope they don't. At least
Yeah,
in that
exactly.
respect.
Right.
Yeah.
Be careful what you're cloning, because what you want to clone is someone that if you're marketing a bit, they can get your face out there a little more, but you still have that personal touch.
I think that's so vital as well, because I think I don't know about you. Actually, let's pull the room. I'm a little bit allergic to when I read something and I can tell it's AI. That's an immediate it discredits it for me. I take it a step down and I don't consider as much that argument, whatever's being presented to me. Is that consensus?
I am 100%.
So even if you're using AI, you got to get back in there and make it your language. And I think we're seeing that with the comments about the M dash being everywhere in AI and even the way that some arguments are structured, the 1, 2, 3, it's not just this, it's this, and you got to make it your own. You got to be a human being at the other side. People want to transact with somebody they know as a person, they can trust, and they like that. That's who they want to deal with. They don't want to deal with an AI. They want to deal with you.
So, like I mentioned, I had this gentleman, James. I can say his name because we don't have his last name here. He's an Asian agent,
Okay.
client. His best friend is an agent, but his best friend tried. He failed. Said he did not do a very good job. He told me that himself. So I said he did not do a good job. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is he's about relationships. He came in here, spoke to us for about an hour and a half. It was just about relationships, not about the real estate so much, more about the relationships. So we could have went on for hours, but I had to go to work and he had things to do. Yeah. Otherwise, he's coming tomorrow on Saturday to my first time home buyer seminar. He's a guy that's bought and sold lots of real estate, but he wants to come and see. He says, I love learning. Yeah. Right. So I said, okay, come. We got a full house, but I'll squeeze you in.
Fantastic.
So, it's
about trust. It's building.
That's exactly what he said. Trust. And he's Asian.
Yeah.
So he says, trust is the most important thing because sometimes they don't trust their own. So they trust outside.
You got to build that trust.
Right. That's what we're building. Yeah. And I've always believed that. Always go to what's important to them. Right. Find out. Get belly. I'm still old school that way.
Yeah.
Right. So from your perspective as a broker of record, what should agents be doing today to prepare for the market that is going on now, where it is right now? Like if you were to tell our agents, what would you be telling them that they should be doing right now?
They got to go back to basics. They got to have a routine. They got to have a plan for every day. I think it's a common trap that people, not just agents, everybody falls into, is that they get into a negative routine and they think that they're being productive when they've got their schedule full. And you really got to examine those individual things on the schedule and make sure that they're actually moving the needle. Because it's really easy to fill a schedule. Like I can fill my day with a lot of stuff, but is it actually going to impact my business? Is it going to actually drive something?
Most of them don't have a schedule.
That's first step, I guess. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now. I would tell you 90% of the agents don't have a schedule.
Yeah.
I would ask them to put their hands up here, but I don't want to, right? Because they are supposed to, but I can tell you, I bet you almost 80 to 90% of salespeople in general, not just real estate agents, do not have a schedule.
It's it's very attractive to go back and try and reinvent the wheel and try something new, but rely on the tested and true behaviors that deliver success. Don't try and reinvent it. Don't spend your mental energy and your effort in trying to discover something brand new and how to do something. It's already been proven.
Listen, with Remax Hallmark, they got so many top producers all over the freaking, all the way from Ottawa down to Naples, even top producing teams, agents. So you don't need to reinvent. Just learn from what's already out there. And the key that I try and tell all of them, don't try and be a master at everything. Master one thing and one thing only. I've said I'm a slow learner, but when I learn it, there's nobody better than I am at what I do. And I would challenge anybody, anywhere, any place. So be a slow learner, but when you learn it, be the best you are at it and give 100%, 100, never mind 100%. I never believe in 100%. I always believe in 110%. Go that extra mile, go that extra distance, give it everything you can get to get there, right? So, what one thing are you guys going to take in April and master? Be the best you possibly can. That's what I would recommend, right?
Absolutely.
And to have a schedule.
Yeah.
Schedule, eat the frog first.
Yes.
Right? You know the book?
Yeah.
Eat the frog. Do the ugly thing you don't want to do. Everything after that is easy, right? So, do you believe affordability will improve in the next couple of years? Are we entering a new normal for pricing in the GTA?
I think I mean, the numbers that I look at, I think it has been affordability has been improving over the past.
Well, it's got to be down 20-25%
2 years
in
or
most
so.
areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So we're going back, I think, to between 20 and 21 prices for the most part.
Yeah.
So that is more affordable.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Right?
Hopefully we've seen some wage increases since then. I think it's got to. I think at a certain point, life has to be affordable in Canada. There has to be a quality of life. There has to be. You can't just. It's not all in real estate. As much as we all love real estate, you have to have that money for other stuff as well. I think we are seeing some return to affordability. I mean, I think there's some hard facts out there that are driving some of our affordability concerns. The price of land, the price of construction, which make it difficult. You can't build something for what? How many per square foot? And how much per square foot?
Well, you got to be looking really at $500 a square foot.
At bare minimum.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Where you could use to once upon a time $200 if you really shopped around.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get much, but so for the bare minimum, when you look at some of them, they're 800, even condos. You look at condos. Condos were built to be at the more affordability for all consumers. Now, unfortunately, I have to be careful because all the builders are my friends, but I believe they all got greedy because when you got to the prices that we got to in the peak, the condos were not affordable anymore. They become something for the luxury. So that's why there's so much problems with condos downtown. You got condos that are 400 square feet. Now, I don't know if anybody in here wants to go live in a 400 square foot condo. Trust me, maybe if I'm on my dying bed, I might have to go do that. But if I have a preference, I don't want to go live in 400 square feet, right? I'm serious. So I believe that they're going to have to configure some of these condos downtown and knock out some malls and make them 800 square feet.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because they let less students. The students were taking them to just grabbing them like crazy. But you had 800,000 students coming in. Now we're at 300,000. So now you have all them empty condos that people don't want. You got a good condo and it's a good layout, it will go. It will sell. But if you have something that's overpriced, and that's why I say they have to do with a lot of the stuff that, so here's a good question that you don't know probably, and I don't know yet. So there's 40,000 condos and there's like so many that are going to close and they want to sell on assignment. Now, those ones will not qualify for the rebate. So if you already bought 5 years ago, you want to sell me your condo now, it will not qualify for the rebate.
I don't believe so. I haven't read the actual text.
It's April 1st.
Yeah.
It's April 1st. Even when I sell in the King Heights, that when they put on for the first time home buyers, there was a date because we sold lots of them before that, but those guys couldn't get that rebate. So that, I think they're going to have to make some adjustments still on this.
Yeah.
I think they might give it a bit of time, but I think they could still fine tune it to backtrack it to some of these deals. And that would clear up a lot of backlog, a lot of people going under foreclosure and losing lots of money.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones right now that I see need as much as the builders do,
Yeah.
right?
There's a lot of slack in the marketplace downtown where it's just not being absorbed right now. And they
Right.
got to do something about that. So.
And that's exactly
And
what
I think
I'm
they're
talking
starting to make moves around that, but it's not solved.
So I think as a real estate board, I hope that they'll even make some noise, and even with some of the builders make noise on backlogging it longer than April 1st.
Yep.
And letting some sales that were done within the last couple of years qualify
Yep.
that GST, HST rebate that the people can afford, right?
I'll pass that on to our government relations people. at
Yes,
Grab.
100%.
Not in that department, but
I know, but I think as a team and as a group, we need to start putting that. I applaud the government for what they did. I think it's the greatest thing. I just think there's some adjustments that can really correct this market and a lot of people, because I see so many people that are underwater. You know, someone paid 1.2 million for a condo. They'd be very blessed to get 700,000 for it today. So that's $500,000 loss.
it's a big hit
That's a lot.
for somebody's largest, or maybe the largest investment of their life.
Well, we have that. We have one of our clients right now. They paid $1 million. We just put her house at 638.
It's tough,
So
but it's real. I mean, good for you for giving them the real advice and actually giving them an option to get out from under that.
Well, she has to.
You got to do it.
She's a nurse. She's going to have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Right. She's just the last 2 years, she's just been spending every dime she makes
Yeah.
to pay this before now it's closed. So now we can do something.
Yeah.
I could have sold it before for probably about 800, but we couldn't sell it then because they were only under occupancy.
Right.
Right. So,
Tough situation.
you know, there people like that need help. So what segments of the market do you think will outperform others? Condos, freeholds, luxury, or pre-construction?
I mean, if we're talking kind of reversion to meat,
But
go on.
here, I'll add to that because that's a trick question.
Yeah.
Because every area is totally different.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. Everything's going to be a little bit different. Some areas have declined more than others. It's kind of a tough game to play that prediction market. I think, condos have fallen a long way. So I think they've got the most opportunity to make up for lost ground. I think if you were solely looking from an investment perspective, looking to make money, like make a return, you're probably best looking at condos.
Yeah.
Because they've been beaten up the most right now.
I have one that I've just listed, and it was a family home, and she has power of attorney on it. The father's in an old age home, and she's going to go live with a friend. But I said, let's go sell you a condo, even if you don't go live there, because even if you just rent it out 2 or 3 years, you're going to make an incredible investment on it instead of your money just sitting there being negligent in a bank.
Right.
Right. And being out of the market. So now I'm starting to tell people, if you can get some extra money, to go start looking for some of these assignments, look at these resales and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, who came in, one of our clients, their son, the barber, they want to buy a condo. So I had Vika working with her yesterday. Right. So more and more people I can see already starting to come out of the woodwork in just in March.
Yeah.
Right?
I've seen a real uptick in the last 2-3 weeks or something like that, give or take, of people reapproaching the market, which is really encouraging because January, February this year, looking from the TREB numbers, worse than last year.
It was like just digging
hard
snow,
to imagine.
like nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm telling each and every one of you guys, you have to have that belief the market is going to change, and you have to portray, the people have to trust you. If you just blah, 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 they are not going to believe you. You have to show them and see what can happen and give that vision. Because, II chat says, oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. But you don't be the II chat. Be that personal person with compassion. I sat there with her best friend who's older, the mortgage broker. She just referred me to their cousin. They referred me to on the ones on Newmarket, the ones we just sold. She referred to us. We sold in 27 days. They were on the market a couple times before. We sold it for 70,000 more than one right across the street. Sold in October. So they got like 120,000 more, right? So they have that trust with me. So that's why they listed with us, because they have that trust. We've already proven, right? So always don't be pushy, don't be salesy. Come from humble, come from gratitude, and show them that you can help them get what they want. Because that's like this question is such a great question. I love this question about which segments do you think outperform condos, freehold, luxury, or pre-construction? Every area, and it could be just across the street here to here. It could be just across the street here to here. No two areas are exactly the same. So when we do stats, the stats are basically across the board. So they're an average, but they're not realistic because one area, in 22 and 23, or 21, 22, whatever, the market went up anywhere from 20 to 30%. So no market was above that. Every market, wherever you are, I don't care where you are, is come down in price. But there's still markets now, they're getting multiple offers.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Some houses are selling more than asking price, some condos even, right? So,
and I think the stats, sorry to interrupt, but I think the stats can be so misleading as well because, okay, go sell me the average house in the greater Toronto area.
Yes.
What's the average house? I mean,
it's under $1 million.
And it doesn't exist either.
Yeah.
Like you got to drill down into the local area, that local specific thing. So when you look at the TREB number of the average price of under $1 million, that's a pretty big geography to be considering for that. Like it's almost meaningless in the sense of what your client is looking at because it doesn't matter to them. It's the specific area.
So what I ask people today, if they're going to purchase, what is their price range? Because then I can get you this over here. I got to stay on the screen. So I can get you over this here. I can get you this here. And then we take you a little further north. I can get you this. You want to go further east or further west? The further you are out of Toronto, the more you'll get for your dollar. But if you're a downtown person, you're a downtown person. You want to be downtown. I was a downtown person and now I live in Richmond Hill. I want to go downtown, but I don't want to go there now. So it depends on what's important to you. And that's what you have to focus it with them. So you asked me that question as an investor, and I'm going to say, how much do you want to invest? Where do you think will get the greatest return on your investment in shorter time? Then I got to go over numbers and guidance with them. And it may take a couple hours, but it's generally someone's biggest investment that they're making, right? Investor, they just want to find a place where they can make money. As an owner, I want to find a place I'm going to be comfortable. In 5 years' time, I'm going to make money. Because you show them, if I rent for 5 years, or if I buy for 5 years, I spend this much money on rent, but I spend this much money on my mortgage, but my house price has increased. So I'm at the point now that I think we pretty much bottomed out. But if you want to go back and go to 10 years, chances are they double their value in 10 years. So always let them know, is it a long-term investment or a short-term? Because if it's long-term, they can't lose.
Yep.
And you see my video that I did yesterday, and I said, long-term, I'll guarantee you pretty much doubled your money. Take me anywhere you want, Toronto GTA, and you probably doubled your money. So I still believe that housing, whether it be condo, semi, townhouse, whatever it is still one of the soundest, best investments that you're going to make. So, it's not like this stock is here today and tomorrow the stock is gone, right? I have never done well in the stocks, but if you own real estate and you hold it long enough, if you have to sell it at a bad time, yeah, you'll lose money, but go in it for the long game.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a great wealth creation vehicle. Absolutely.
How are investor behaviors changing? What opportunities or risks should we be paying attention to? And the part of that discussion was just in what we're talking about.
Yeah. How are investor behaviors changing? I think, and this might be, I haven't fully fleshed out this idea. I think the way that the pre-construction market worked for a long time, it was catered to the investors. They were using these pre-construction sales as a method of financing. And I don't know if that has to change.
Absolutely, it does.
Because I think it has all these unintended consequences. Like we were talking about the unit sizes of condos downtown. And the reason they were built that way, the reason we have all these 400 square foot condos is because that was the easiest thing to invest in for an investor. Does it serve? My brother lives down in a condo at was it Spadina and Queen, very urban guy.
Oh yeah,
got a young family as well. They liked that lifestyle. It is, but they're swimming against the flow there. It is not common for them to have families in that building.
Yeah, they're all young.
There's very few they've got a 3-bedroom condo.
Rare.
They're less than 1% of the housing stock down there.
Right.
And I think for us to have, Toronto compared to a lot of other places, we do have a very vibrant downtown at night. It's still relatively safe. I think we need to encourage that. I don't think downtown should be a ghost town after 6 p.m.
After
I think
COVID,
we have to,
it was like,
we have to find a way to make that a viable option for families to live in the core and encourage that.
Well, one of the other great things though the government did is they forced back the legislator to go back to work, because you think of all these big companies, they had all these big towers downtown. I mean, billions and billions and billions of dollars. They were white knights. They were totally nothing's going on. So now they forced them to go back to work 2, 3 days, 4 days a week. So eventually they'll all be back to work full time. So what that does, it helps the economy because they can spend money, they can spend gas, they can stop at a variety store, they can go to the downtown thing, they'll probably go to a restaurant downtown. Yep. So it puts money back in the economy and it helps those guys instead of having white towers. Yep. So the livelihood, if you're in your 20 or 30, you can get a job downtown. You want to go downtown.
Yeah.
But Toronto got so dead that even the young people didn't want to even go there anymore. But, if I was 20 or 30, my God, I'd be down there in 2 seconds because, that was where it's at. I was born downtown and it was the most fun. You come to Richmond Hill, the streets roll up at 6 o'clock. There's some nice restaurants in that, which I love, but for the most part, you want to see, walk around, you see people. I'm a people watcher. Yeah. So you see people out on the streets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So different styles, for your brother now, when he moved there, he may not have had kids, so it was okay. But now they got one of the rare 3 bedrooms in that thing. They're an oxymoron because there's no kids for the kids to play with.
Yep.
And everybody else is just young people working and going out, drinking and partying and whatever. So, if you're having young kids, that's why the migration is you're up in the burbs somewhere, you go downtown and, you try and raise your career, get higher up in the echelon, you get married and you still stay there for another couple of years. And then you have kids and then you go to the burbs, east or west or the burbs. And then you have your families grow up and you're happy there. And as you get older, then okay, let's go back downtown, right? And some of them, or then some don't want to go downtown. But that's the way the migration worked. Now, what's happened since COVID, there's bigger migration of moving out than moving in. We never had that big a migration. So they have to reinvent the wheel downtown to get things happening. And along the waterfront, what I see being done along there is fabulous. As long as you don't make it all condos that the public can go use that usage, right? Because it all starts from your heart. So everything starts from downtown and moves north and east and west. So, this HST, because you got so many condos there, that's going to help those. Even along here, we've got tons of condos still here that not as many houses have been built over that period. So,
there's not, you gotta have the land to build the houses, right?
So I think they have some land and they have some places. So maybe that might start them breaking around and getting the sales off. So I'm hoping that it does. Yeah. So what's one mistake you think agents will make in the next market cycle that could cost them their listings or their clients? What's one mistake you think agents will make in this next market cycle? Because some of them don't think.
Yeah.
Because they're just too rushed. Here, give me your listing or let me go buy your house.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the way that you described your conversation with that individual. Was it yesterday?
Yes.
Before?
Yesterday.
Take the time to build that trust. You're building a relationship with people at the end of the day. They have to trust you. You're building that trust. I think an over-reliance on tools, technology, AI, whatever it is to accelerate you, it's a fantastic tool. It's going to allow you to go further and faster and stronger. You got to put the effort in and get the face time with these people to actually build a relationship as well. They don't want to refer an AI. They want to refer their friends. They're friends that if that referral, if they send you to their buddy and it comes back and their friend says, oh, I didn't really get along with that guy. I didn't really feel authentic, didn't feel, didn't feel the trust with that guy. They don't want that conversation. They want winning reviews of the people that they're standing behind. So you gotta develop it. You have to get really toe to toe with them, belly to belly.
So basically, if you refer somebody out, right, you need to know who you're referring out to, right? Because I had just given one of my agents the one party's in Vancouver and the other party is here in Toronto. So, their first thought was to sign them to buy your agency. I said, no, you've got to build rapport with them. They've talked to me. I've had good conversation with them. They want to work with us. So you have to somehow have faith in them because they're 100%, they're going to get something. And they're only going to rent something now.
Right.
But, when they rent, they'll have the double income and they're going to want to buy within that year because now they got a fixation. Price is still not gone up that much. You'll still be able to get a condo at still a decent price. So you have to build that relationship. You can't just never meet them and say, you got to sign a buyer agency with me. Listen, I would tell you all to sign a buyer agency. I'll be the first one. You need to sign a buyer agency, right? To save yourself a lot of hassle. And it's the same as a listing. Unless I get a listing signed, I have nothing. So I have to go build relationships to get those listings signed, right? But they have to see value, what you can do versus someone else can do. So whatever that value is that you're providing, you need to know it inside out. So this gentleman, I didn't ask him to come into my first time home buyer seminar. Why would I? He's owned numerous properties, but he wants to see how I operate live. He's excited. He said, I'd love to know the knowledge. So what I'm going to say to this guy, I think he's 65 or 70. He's got money. He came from China. He had worked from some big things. He was in sales and he was excited. He said, no one else in the other realtors explained to me what you explained to me. None, even his buddy. So, I'm showing him value, right? And then I'm showing him with price because we didn't agree on price because I'm not buying. I said, if that was the case, you'd have been gone already. I'm not dictating. The market dictates to you, no matter good or bad agent. If you haven't sold it, the market's telling you you're too much price for your value. So you're not always going to agree with everything, and you don't have to. He liked my truth. He said, of all the things, you've been the most truthful to me than anything.
That's what won him.
Right?
You were truthful.
Exactly.
You built that trust. He could trust what you were telling him.
And we butted heads a couple times. Right?
Yeah.
But he said, I like you because you told me the truth.
Yeah.
Right? So guys, don't go tell them when someone says, yeah, I want $1 million or 1.5 for my place, and their place is worth 1.2. Where are you going with that? You're never going to sell it, and you're not going to build a relationship with them because all the time you're going to go, we got to reduce, or I got to reduce. They don't want to hear that.
You're not getting the referral at that point.
Yeah. Well, you're not getting anything. Chances are they're going to want a cancellation, right? So just be upfront, be honest. Like you can't do what you can't do. I'll tell you what, I'll go here to downtown and back to do something for you. But I can't say I'm going to go here to the moon and back because I can't get to the moon, right? So don't offer things that you can't really perform. Just tell them what you can do and you'll do 110%. But don't overpromise and you can't deliver on that, right? That's what I see a lot of agents do.
Yeah, deadly mistake.
Right? Overpromise what they can do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you had to give one piece of advice to agents to stay around in 2026 and beyond, because listen, short term, a lot of people are just grasping at the straws. I see the numbers with the agents the last couple of years.
It's been declining.
And it's been like, it's just been going like this.
Is at 64,000.
They were up to 100,000 at one time.
Ontario was, over 100,000. I think Treb was somewhere in the 70s or something.
Well, we were well over that. We're up to over 80.
Is it 80? Yeah.
Right. So it's depreciating and it's good because there was way too many agents anyway. So guys, here's what I want you to understand. There's an opportunity every single day. Every day. You need to wake up earlier. Someone tell me what time they wake up. Be honest. 5:30, that's my sister, of course. She's a workhorse. Who said 10? You don't sleep. Cyrus, I tell you, you need to get a sleep because you can't work without having sleep. I can't even work without sleep, right? But who said 10? 6:10. That's good. Guys, you should all be getting out of bed 6, 7 o'clock. I mean, you can get out of bed at 5, but you should not be sleeping in before that. And you should plan your day the night before. So you know the night before when you wake up, you know what you got to do. But I can tell you, you guys waste 90% of your day. If anything I could instill upon you is you waste 90% because you have no direction, you have no guidance. You just get up and it's like I'm in the middle of the ocean and I got to get my little compass and figure out, okay, which land might be able to hit today.
Yeah. If you don't have a plan for the day, you're going to be in that reactive mode where you get the smallest thing could crop up and you'll devote a lot of time to fixing that problem or addressing that thing. Whereas if you have a plan, you know you're going to be between 10 and 11, you're going to be prospecting, you're going to be doing this, that, and the other. It's a lot easier to get something actually accomplished at the end of the day.
Right? You have to wake up and know listen, I seen the deers. So I told them if I see a rabbit or I see deers, I seen a papa deer, mama deer, and a baby deer in my backyard today, back on a conservation. I absolutely love wildlife. I'm infatuated by it. And, I seen them a little while ago and I sold the old 150 Old Bayview. I sold it for 2.6 million. I was talking to her on the phone and I was yelling at her in my way because that's sometimes I'll get that with my clients. Got to come heart to heart.
The truth, yeah.
Right. And there was the mama deer and the baby deer as I was talking to her, and I told her, you know what, we're good luck. I see the deer. We're going to sell your house today. Right? And we did sell it. We got it. Yes. There you go. And I got the picture of the baby deer. I got to give it to her. But I didn't get any pictures today because my phone was in the other room. And they were just there standing there for a long time. And it's like you waking up and seeing your kids. They put a smile on your face, right? So I live alone. So, to see this is, I look out every day. I get up in the morning, I go to bed at night. I look out my bedroom window to see if I can see the deers, right? So normally I used to get to see 1 million rabbits. So it's funny. I haven't been seeing the rabbits the last 2 years. I don't know if the coyotes chase them away or whatever, but I was selling the house every single day or 2 houses every day.
Yeah.
So now it's slowed down.
Working. Yeah.
But I don't see the rabbits. So the deer is my protocol now. So, I just listed a place further up north and I think I'll see a lot of deer there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's property.
Yeah.
So
replenish that good luck.
Yeah, exactly. So I said to them today, I said, what one thing instills confidence or something or belief that you're going to actually go sell a house? You wake up, you got your kids.
Yeah.
Right? So I know your lovely wife, you got a wife and 2 beautiful kids.
Yeah.
So when I see Michael and his wife at the events, she was always pregnant or free with fight and stuff like that. So you haven't been that way. So this year was
a couple years now. Yeah.
Right. So you might be due. Right? But you have to find that one thing that instills upon yourself. It's so important, guys, because it's like, you can't say I want to make a lot of money. That is the lamest bullshit thing I've ever heard in my life. I want to make a lot of money. Well, who the fuck doesn't want to make a lot of money? Right? Yeah. Listen, the lottery was, I think, 55 million. So my nickname is Lucky One. So I always buy these lottery tickets, and even with you, I'm going to go buy another one. Right? And so I told Michael, because we're going down to Sanctuary in May. Yeah. So I said to him, I'm going to buy a ticket, and we win the 55 million. We're going to not buy a private jet. We're not that us, but you can do the time sharing. So we would take, 10 people or something on the private jet and fly down to Denver. Because Denver's got one of the most loaded private jets down there. I bet, yeah, right? Yeah. So how cool would that be? Just win 55 million, half him, half me. And one of the things we want to do is just have fun, because it's a private golf course. So we take, he'll take 5 people, I'll take 5 people, or 12 or whatever number it is. And we'll go on this private jet. What a lifetime. What an experience.
About the experience.
Right? And that's what you got to figure out. What is my experience? There isn't a day. Look at 34 years in the business, 17,000 sales. And every day, I always say, what can I see or learn today? That's my first thing. What can I see or learn today that is going to trigger me to do this? Right? I said to my buddy Chris, he's been traveling with his other half, and he's having an experience of his lifetime. And I said, okay, good. Now time to come back and have the experience, go make the money, then you can do it over again. Right? So go have that experience every single day. Challenge yourself. Meeting this guy, James. It's the first time I ever met him. I left message for him. He called me back, right? He said, I like how you sounded. So he came in and me and Erica talked to him and he's going to come in Saturday. He said, I'll sit in the corner. So I'm going to sit him over right in that corner. Because the place is going to be, we're going to have 100 people here. I'm going to sit him right in that corner. I said, James, you want to come in? I told you we're full. There's the corner you said, right? Now have some fun with it, but listen, if you guys see me talk, you guys who are joking around and not being serious, I like to have fun. I love to have fun. So have some fun with your clients, but tell them the truth, right? Make an impact on them, right? If you're not having an impact on them, they'll forget you before, like you guys call them up. Hey, Daryl told me to call you. What do you want to buy now? No. That's what happens. You got to have that love. You got to have that compassion. You know what? I'm really, really excited. You must be someone very special. Daryl just passed me on and asked me to give you a call because he said that you and your family are looking to purchase a house. Is that correct? What's your relationship with Daryl? Right? Like, you must be special. He asked me. I'm one of his top agents. Even if you're the bottom one, it doesn't matter. Right? You have to make them feel special. Imagine if you said that to somebody. Do you think they would listen to you? Guys, voice. Do you think they would listen to you? Try doing that. When I give you a lead, saying, I'm so excited. You must be super, super special. Daryl had asked me to reach out to you to see if we can help you and your family out. Hey, how's that for a line? I just thought of that just sitting here now. Because when the brain starts working, that's when I love to do seminars and stuff like that. The teacher gets more information than the students, right? Mm-hmm. So when I get to speak, I got to do a whole lot of homework. And so my brain is triggered. It's like boom, boom, boom. So I get excited. And the more I get excited, the more opportunities that are out there for me and the team. So what excites you? That's what you guys got to figure out. What's important to you? What's your trigger point, right? It is so important that you understand that is. And the other part is find out what is the trigger point of your future client. They're not going to be your future clients unless you can get them excited to want to work with you. There's still 70,000 agents.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's AI.
Selection. Yep.
Right? Yeah. So I always say, here's what I always tell everybody. Opportunity is there every single day. Every day. Chris, what did we say today? No, but I said about today is an opportunity, right? Today is a great day to have a great day.
Today is a great day to have a great day.
Today is everybody repeat this. Today is a great day to have a great day. Wake up every morning and say, today is a great day to have a great day. Okay? Put that in your mind, right? Don't put negative shit in there. I got an email from our brokerage from Corey and one of the old agents. They worked here, and they want to come back here. I won't take them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Some rumor got around that one of my agents was trying to recruit them. She called me. I said, Corey, don't worry. We're not going to try and recruit any RE/MAX hallmarkers. We're partners. Yeah. We'll work together with them, but we're not trying to recruit them. So I got to call them again personally and let them know that. Yeah. Right? Because, guys, I want us to recruit, but I'm not recruiting RE/MAX hallmarker agents. Let's be clear on that.
There's a ton of opportunity out there. You don't need
everybody else, open game. So I only want people like us that want to be able to help others. Number one is it's not about us first. It's about the clients. We're in second position. Always remember that. So if you guys can always remember that, that's the type of people I want working here. I don't want I in team. Team is working together, right? When you guys are successful, I tell you what, I don't think there's anyone more proud. Like Nick, he just sold his first house with a team. So I've changed it up, right? So Chris is having his best start, I think, of his career. Chris. So Chris is number.
Roll out here a little bit.
So Chris is not. So where's my girl? Take a picture. Hey, take a picture of him. Right here. Right. But I say that because he's been here for 10 years. It's not an overnight sensation. I work on his mindset, like sometimes more than here, take that. I work on his mindset because sometimes you'll get that drunk monkey. We all get that drunk monkey that comes and goes, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yep.
Right. But as you build up more and more confidence, it's amazing what you can do. Guys, whatever you've done, 10 times that, because you can 10 times more than what you've done in any other year. And this is the year to do it. You just got to stretch yourself and go push yourself to make that happen. And I know with this mindset, you're going to be pushing for number one on the team. And I know you want that. You didn't mind being number two, but I know you don't want to settle there. And that's what I want. And, the other two, they want to go push even more too. And the other ones, Vika, Diane, right? All the top agents, Alvin, they all want to push. And it's not like they'll push each other in a friendly way.
You want to surround yourself with those people that are really excelling.
Exactly. Right. And I can't help but recognize that. And I tell you, I bet you that this is his first best quarter in the 10 years you worked with me. And I haven't even gone over your numbers, but I just know. And what do you attribute that to, Chris? Here. Mindset. Vika will tell him that too. Vika and I and Chris, we go back a long time, the three of us together. And, these are my other kids from the other family. But, so I want them to grow. And sometimes I beat up on them, right? But it's a love beat up. It's not a beat up like, you're being an asshole. It's pushing them to do more and having that belief that they can do more. And when I do, they go and do more, right? So there's nothing. And, when I'm on stage with Tony Robbins, I always say, if I can do this, you guys can do that, right? 15,000 people. So, and the other part I always said is if I can change one person's life doing what I do, it's all worth it. So who can you help today, right? Treat everybody like the janitor or the CEO. Treat them equally. Michael's my good friend. He's my broker of record. We're going to go way down and we're going to golf and have some laps together, right? But I love everybody. That's just my personality. If you get to know me, I love everybody. So, and I talk to everybody, but that's out of sincerity and out of reality. It's not someone trying to be fake. That's my personality. Diane and I were brought up that. My father walked out of a room with 2,000 people. He would know at least 1,000 of them before he left that room. That's just the way he was. He was the most friendliest, jovial person alive. So we were blessed with that. You always think with what you're blessed. I wasn't blessed with 6'5", but I'll tell you what, I was blessed with good charm and good manners, right? And that's what's important. So, Michael, we're coming down to that hour because where's my phone? I need my clock, right? So we're going to ask some questions right now. We're coming to 1:58. So what do you want to ask me or you want to tell them? And then we're going to have a half hour for some questions.
I want to ask you, I really admire about how authentic you are, Daryl. You are who you are. There's no air about it. You are exactly what you present to be, and you want to meet everybody. It's incredible. You take so much inspiration from that. Right? It's incredible.
Guys, you don't need to be anybody else but you. Yeah. We all have our own DNA, and I try and tell you that. I can teach you, Saji can teach you, Hannibal, all of us can teach you something, but you got to form it into your personality, your charm, your blessings, authentic. Yeah. Right? Like the skills, Saji and me and Hannibal and Tracy will all help you out with that. But your personality is your personality.
The skills can be learned.
Yes.
That's the learning part.
Yes. Right. But that's what I like about you. Same thing. You guys may not know Ken. Some of us know Ken really well. I've known Ken 35 years, but he's a spitting image of his father. But I think no disrespect to his father, I think he's brighter. No,
Still have more hair as well. But
no. And Ken would be okay with that because Ken knows I love him to death and I respect him more than anybody. But the reason I say that is he's super level-headed. He doesn't have an ego. Like young guy like that, 42, being in charge of the largest brokerage in Canada, the number one productive in Canada, he has no ego. Zero ego. Like if you just seen him and you talked to him and he brought in this room, you just think he's another agent. But think he's the broker of record with the most powerful real estate company in Canada. Zero ego. And if I call him up at any time, and there's sometimes I call him when it's not so good a time, he was on holidays and I called him to ask him something, right? He still answered my phone call. So he's authentic, he's real, and he's humble. No matter what level you guys get to, I don't care if you make 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, remember, be authentic, be humble, and be real. And remember what your purpose is to help others.
Yep.
Don't, I want to make more money. Oh my God. If someone tells me that, they come and they want to come and hire me, and I say, I want to make more money, I'm going, oh my God.
That's the byproduct. What would your client think if you said that to them? Like,
right? Yeah. Just, you're just a dollar sign for me. Yeah. They're going to put a dollar, but for that dollar, you got to work for that dollar. You got to show them value, especially today. When the market was hot, you could just throw out the fish and you'd have 10 little bigger fishes trying to grab onto you. Today, you've got to go position yourself that you can get to where you want to go. So I'm going to give applause right now. And again, to Michael, because, it was everything I thought it would be and more, right? So let's give Michael a big standing ovation here. Let's give him a standing ovation.
Thank you so much for having me in today. It's been
Do you want to say a quick word? I'll let you say a quick word before he closes down.
Thank you so much for having me in today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I always love our time together. It's been, and to be, the best part of my job is just to be around people that are the best at what they do and engaged and motivated. And I count this as one of those experiences. Right. That makes it all worthwhile.
So this is Daryl King sharing the mindsets as with our super guest, Michael McLachlan, and everybody that's online and here in person. I want to thank you, everybody, for being here. Spring market is here, so let's go out and hustle.
Go get it.
Go make it your best day. Today will be a great day, right? Today is a day. Today is a great day for a great day.